Hello YouTube fam! It has been quite a while since I've been in the workshop. I think it's been about 3 weeks now, which feels like a lifetime ago. I just got back from Vietnam and whenever I travel, I just feel so inspired to create. So here we are today. We are in the workshop and we're gonna work on some DIYs. When we were in Vietnam, I noticed how many items are actually handmade and just handcrafted. It really just amazed me and made me realize how much DIY there is left to do in this world. There's so many cool techniques to try out. So today I want to step out of my comfort zone and try something new. So that is kind of the goal with this project. You guys know that I love my DIY artwork. I have a ton just all around the house, but I think it is time to switch some things up. I've been working in our dining room and our kitchen area a lot, and one area that I really want to change up is these 2 frames that I have hanging above our dining table. They are just not doing it for me anymore, so I want to change things up and really think outside of the box. So I wanted to create something that's a little bit more sculptural. So of course I went online and looked for a few inspiration pieces. So these are the 2 that I kind of came across. As you can tell from the inspo, I'm very much drawn to more of like a circular shape for above the dining room. The room just feels super linear right now, especially with all the board and batten and the rectangular table. Everything in there is basically a box, so I want to just break it up and bring in something a little bit more organic with some wavy patterns. So this is our end goal, and usually to buy something like this, it can get pretty pricey. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we can DIY a version that is fully custom and fits my space perfectly. So I've been thinking about all the different ways that I can create this project. So at first I thought that I could just cut out all the little pieces with a jigsaw and then glue it on top of like a base piece, but I think that's going to be way too much work. And then I also thought about maybe just hand carving it with like a chisel or some type of wood carver, but I'm not actually quite sure on where I can even get tools like that. So I think the day has finally come. I am going to bite the bullet and get myself a router. I think that this is going to be the best way to create this piece. I have not tried out a new tool in so long, and I thought, what the heck, it is 2023. It is time for me to get out of my comfort zone. I feel really inspired right now to try something new and just go for it. I'm gonna go grab a new router, some bits, and then we could test it out and see how it goes. Okay, we have the router in possession. I also grabbed this bit set, which comes with 5 pieces, I believe. So this basically comes with different sizes for our cut. And then here we have the router. I just bought this one from Ryobi because all my tools are Ryobi. I have the battery pack already, and this is just the tool only, so that saves a little bit of money when you're able to just buy from one brand. Okay, let's open her up. Oh wow, this is a lot smaller than I thought. A key. Just from looking at this, it looks like it doesn't come with the bit, so I'm glad that I bought it. But here it is. You just put the battery on top, the bit inside here, and then we have a plate, and that is basically where it sits to go cut the wood. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, what the heck is a router? It basically just hollows out your material. So you can use this on wood or plastic or even metal. And with this, you can get some really nice detailed cuts. So what makes this a little bit different than a jigsaw is that you can literally cut it in the middle of a piece of wood versus only on the edge. So this is very versatile, and I've also seen so many people using this to create some arches. You guys have seen me make some DIY compasses to kind of map things out before I cut it. But with this, you can basically combine 2 steps in one, and instead of drawing with a compass and then cutting it, you can basically use the compass just to cut it out with this. I definitely am going to use it a lot for that, and I think that this is such a versatile tool that was definitely missing in my collection. Now that I have it, I actually have to learn how to use it, so I'm gonna go on YouTube and watch a bunch of tutorials and see how to get started with this. How to use Ryobi Router.
Take your projects from beginner to professional.
Okay, cool. Now, time to actually try it out. Safety first. Think everything looks good. Do I just put it on? Oh. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, I need to figure out how to actually guide this because it kind of just wants to spin towards the left. I'm gonna need a lot of practice. Here's the first line that I did. As you can see, it's kind of going towards the left, and then I tried doing kind of a straight line, but that is really clean. And then here's where I tried to do it in the middle of the wood. Clearly struggling a little bit here, but I think I got the hang of it the second time around. And then again here, I was trying to do a straight line from the get-go, but it was a little bit harder. So I'm still trying to figure this out. This actually cuts off a lot of the wood, so you're gonna need like a brush or something to take it all out. But as you can see, this line is just super clean and it just looks so cool.
What are you doing?
Why are you wearing that? Come try this new tool, honey.
Is it fun?
So this is the router that I've been trying out.
These are interesting.
I know, it has been interesting trying to learn this for sure. I feel like I'm totally a beginner to all of this. But okay, so this is the router. Okay. This is the bit right here. And then you just turn it on like this. Turn it off. I think like trying to figure out the control with this is like where I'm struggling a little bit.
You always struggle a little bit, but you always find a way. So
yeah.
I'm not concerned. If I can do it, you can do it.
Okay.
I probably can't do it.
Not bad. I think maybe that's what I need to do. Just like get in here and just go all over the... Did you make a smiley?
Yep. It's very difficult. I fully believe that you can do it though.
Thanks,
because I'm sure you can make a smiley better than mine.
Look at him.
Let's see if you can do a better smiley.
Here's my smiley.
I say we leave it up to the audience. Who won? My smile or Tina's smile?
I think my smile won.
Yeah, I think so too.
We are taking a quick pause here to talk about today's video sponsor, Squarespace. So as you guys know, I'm currently working on building out a website. I plan to launch it sometime this year, and I also have been working on a secret project that will come out in about a month or so. I've been doing a lot of work on that behind the scenes, so this has really got me diving into the world of website building and just learning how to do it myself. Squarespace has been the best place to do it. It is an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online, and honestly, it's just made everything super easy. If you're an artist or a small business owner, or maybe you're someone who wants to start a side hustle, they have everything that you need to make it happen. In my opinion, I think that they have the best themes and templates to really make your website look professional, which is super important to me. You can customize everything, including the fonts and the colors, to really match your branding. And since I'm someone who's super visual, I love that you can just make the changes right on Squarespace and you'll see them in real time. So no coding is needed, which is an extra bonus. I've also found that their commerce tools are super user-friendly, so you can add in your products. If you've been thinking about starting a website, make sure to click on my link down below. That'll get you a free trial, and you'll also get 10% off of your first website of a domain or a website. So make sure you guys check that out, and I cannot wait to show you guys what I've been working on. Comment down below if you want to take any guesses. And with that being said, let's get back into the project. Okay, I'm taking a little bit of a break from practicing, and I'm actually going to design the piece that I want to make. You guys know that I really like to visualize something before I actually commit to it. So right here I have a picture of a wood round, and I'm just going to use my Procreate app to kind of map out what I'm thinking. So I'm inspired by a few different pieces, so I'm going to try them out on the wood piece to see which one I like best. Okay guys, so here is what I'm thinking. I have a couple of different options. One's a little bit more simple, one is kind of intermediate depending on how you look at it, and then one is very difficult probably, but it's the one that I like the best. So we're gonna see as soon as we try out more cutting techniques to see if I can actually do this design. Here's the first one. It is super simple. It only takes up about a third of the actual wood round. I might actually expand on this, but this is a more simple, minimalistic look. The lines on here are very much freestyle, so I feel like it'd be a lot easier to actually accomplish. So that is my first option. Here's the second one. It kind of combines straight lines with curves, so I kind of like the mix of the two, especially since it is on a wood round. It kind of just breaks up the shapes a little bit more. This one is a little bit more symmetrical, but I can still be very organic with my lines, which is what I'm striving for when it comes to this wood carving. The last one I'm going to show you is the most complex one and the one that I really want to do. So it is this beautiful design. There are a lot of arches in it. It is super symmetrical, but again, the lines do not have to be perfect. Whenever I'm doing a DIY, I have to remind myself that this is handmade and nothing is going to be perfect. So of course we want to have a little bit of that organic feeling when it comes to this. I just think this looks so cool and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can actually get it done. There were a few reasons why I got a router, but one of the biggest reasons is just how versatile it is. There's so many different bits available that you can use to get a different effect. So they have some that are made for decorative edges. You can also get one to make rabbits and different joints and so much more. And I of course plan on using it to create arches and circles with a jig. It's been a while since I tried out a new tool, so I'm just very excited to become more familiar with it so that I can do more complex projects in the future. Although judging from this project, I think all the lines that I'll be cutting will be more than enough practice as a first timer. Here is my latest test piece, and what I'm learning is that I really do need to adjust the settings on here. If you can see right here, the router bit is just barely sticking out, which I think is helping me get a lot more control with this. I also learned that if I keep both of my hands at the bottom plate and then use it to move it around, I have a lot more control that way as well. It does come with a vacuum attachment, which I think will be super helpful because as I'm carving everything out, I really can't see what I'm doing because so much sawdust is getting everywhere. So I'm gonna have to finesse this somehow because the vacuum that I have is definitely way too big for this opening, but I think as long as it gets out of the way, it'll be a lot more helpful than what I have going on right now. Focus on me, please. Oh no, can you see my pimple? Coming through. Alright guys, so this is what we're working on. I have a 3-foot wood round, which I've actually used this before to create a tabletop. You can pretty much find these at any hardware store, or you could totally just cut out your own circle, but I just thought that this was already made, and I also like that this is pretty thick as well. If you can imagine this on a wall, it's gonna make such a statement, and before I even do my template, I definitely wanna make sure that everything looks good on here. I'm gonna measure and map everything out so that I have a clear vision of where I'm cutting, because I know that if I make a mistake, it's going to be very hard to fix. Doing the prep work is going to be super important here, so I want to make sure that I get this all down before we get to cutting. Imagine making a ginormous stool with this. Times like these where I wish I had a projector because that would make my life so much easier. I printed a part of my design to see how this would fit on here, and I think I'm going to use this as kind of a guide as to where I'm going to draw all my different shapes. I know it's going to look a little bit different from what I drew digitally, but this is just going to help me visualize it, especially since there's so many different lines for this. Now that is a lot of lines, but it is finally done. I really love the layout of this. I think I'm just gonna go in with some colored pencil to really darken these up and perfect all the lines before I start to cut. Guys, look at this design. This is a little insane, and I feel like maybe I'm a little bit in over my head. in cutting all of this out, but the time has come. We've practiced and prepped so much with the router, and all that's left to do now is to actually cut it out. So I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna start with the edges. That way I can get a little bit of practice in before I get to the centerpieces. Please wish me luck. Let's do this. How does one start? It has been quite the journey to get here, but I definitely got into the groove of things once it got going. I basically just repeated the steps of cutting and vacuuming in between each of the lines, and you're gonna see that I'm working my way from the outside in. Vacuuming in between definitely slowed me down though, because I was not able to use the attachment since my shop vac is too big, so I definitely need to change that up in the future. I'm gonna take this time to talk about what I learned about using this router and tips for other first-time users like me. One of the biggest mistakes that I made with the router was just taking off too much material at once. This is actually a mistake that a lot of beginners do, so I would say to start off with less, and that way you will get a cleaner cut. I'm a little over halfway through. I'm so tired right now because my neck hurts from looking down. I'm gonna call it a night, and I will check back in with you guys in the morning. Why yes, I am wearing a bootlegged IKEA shirt that I got from Thailand for $3. Thank you for noticing. And if you do need to cut something deeper, you can start off with a lower plunge depth and then work your way down. This will also extend the lifespan of your bit and also avoid your router from overheating. And speaking of bits, make sure that you're using the right one to get the job done. As you guys saw, it took some trial and error to find the one that worked the best for this project. And just testing out all the different settings on the router was important for me to find the sweet spot to find a clean cut and finally get the result that I was looking for. I literally just spent the last 5 minutes looking for my mask and I realize it's on my head. Okay, we're almost done. I just gotta cut out the center and then we can clean it up and sand it. I also learned that the wood grain direction really affected my cuts, and since I was cutting curves in every direction, it was a little bit harder for me to get a clean cut with the grain. And the biggest tip I can give you guys is to not give up and trust the process. There were definitely times where I got very discouraged, especially at the beginning, but now I just feel so much more confident about it because I practiced and just pushed on with the project, so I hope this encourages you to do the same. And even after doing all these cuts, I am no pro yet, so if you guys have any tips or suggestions, please share them in the comments below. I know a lot of you out there are also beginners to power tools, so any knowledge you share will be greatly appreciated by our whole DIY community. It's done. We're done. This is a lot smoother now, but I'm gonna go ahead and actually smooth out the edges even more. I don't know if you can tell, but over here I did the edges, and then over here I didn't yet. And you can just tell these are way sharper, so I want them to be a little bit more smooth and softer, and that way it just looks a lot more finished. This step is seriously so tedious, but I keep telling myself that it's gonna be worth it. I just got an upgrade. So I actually used to be a nail technician at my parents' salon. So we would use this on our customers, and I stole this from my mom, and it's just gonna make this go by so much faster. So thank you, Mom, for letting me use this for a DIY. Alright, so I don't think you guys can actually tell on camera the difference after I sanded this, but in real life I can definitely tell. This is basically as good as it's going to get, so I'm gonna go ahead and start staining. I'm planning to do a darker stain color, and before we can do that, we definitely have to condition the wood, so I have some pre-stain conditioner here. I'm gonna coat the whole entire thing and then wait an hour and then go in with the stain. I actually was debating on whether or not I wanted to paint or stain this because I thought it would look really cool in a light color as well. But ultimately I went with Early American for this piece. I think it really brings out the richness of the wood tones and really lets those lines shine through. This is really going to stand out in the dining room, but let me know in the comments what color or what stain you guys would choose for this project. Oh, under?
Like here?
Down more?
Here?
Yeah, I think that's perfect actually. Okay, thank you.
That's it?
Yeah. That's
Brian's attributes. Lifting stuff. Part 2.
Oh, wow, that looks so cool. I cannot believe it. This is finally done and it looks so good in my dining room, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This definitely was a labor of love, but it was so worth it, and I hope you guys learned something new in this video as well. I hope that you enjoyed it going through this whole journey with me because it was quite the roller coaster ride, but I am so proud that I now know how to use a router. I can't wait to use it on even more projects, and even just looking at this, I can see so many ways that I can repurpose this if I ever choose to use it for something else. For example, if I ever wanted to turn this into a tabletop, I could fill in all of the carved edges with some resin and that would look so cool. So maybe that'll be a future project in a couple of years, but for now I'm loving it in our dining room. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up below and give me a follow over on Instagram if you want to see my posts every single day. That's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!